Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Cup. It's 5:30 a.m. Saturday, November 2nd, 2024. Only 4 days until the rioting, arson, and looting, mostly peaceful demonstrations begin following the election of Donald J. Trump as our president once again. You know, some of you only caught some of my early videos, like Officer having a temporary brain fart there. It'll come to Cantwell. Thought that I hated Trump. No, I just pointed out that Trump cost me a lot of money. I like to tell the whole story, not half the story. And even though I'm long-winded, I still have a view duration that's always been around 8 to 9 minutes. And still maintaining that with, anyway. I'm sure glad I was still awake. You know, the weather terrorists, as we call weather forecasters around here, or at least between me and my best friend, were wrong again. No rain during the night, although I did get damp. I'm glad I was awake at midnight because all of a sudden, actually, the sprinkler right in front of me, I thought wasn't functioning based on the kind of wet patterns. I forgot it's right after midnight. They water. Starbucks is the only one around here who's been in here adhering to Scott and White Clinic. They just let the water run. They don't even fix their irrigation. They got half their vegetation is dead. You know, and they just let the water. I told them close to a month ago that they had a pipe that was just shooting water, just running into the drain, wasn't irrigating anything except the little red flowers, you know, right next to the blown out pipe. And actually, I can tell Starbucks has got them on two different timers. This section comes on first, and then around 4 a.m. Then it irrigates real heavy, especially up along the front where they've got the crepe myrtles and need it the most, you know, because it's of the impervious ground cover kind of thing. Anyway, did I mention it's 73 degrees? No, it's actually 70 degrees. I just got the 70 degrees. It's almost no wind. I'm comfortable. I slept a few feet away because this area was damp. You know, as soon as the sprinklers started, I was awake. I immediately, unlocked the wheelchair, backed it up, and got it clear of the sprinklers, and got my things that, was afraid might get a little too damp. You know, actually, I was already set up for it. I'll keep my stuff in real water-resistant bags and stuff. And I'm glad I bagged up put a second layer of bag on my sleeping bag. And let's see how it's coming along. I think I got 5 more days of crushed white strips, and by then I should get that tar buildup under control. I'm glad I don't drink that. I had a doctor I was going to talk to. I was going to do a little story on him today about how easily a doctor's reputation can get just destroyed through no real fault of his own. Oh, I might venture into that. I may not. But I feel pretty good for only. I may have slept a little longer, but around about 10 minutes after 4, I must have not been sleeping too heavy because I woke up pretty quickly as somebody pulled up in a very quiet car too and approached me and handed me a $5 bill. You know, them $5 bills count. You know, think about it. one a day for 30 days, that's what, $150? That's a lot of money. It adds up. So, like that girl was here the other day, it's not much. You don't have to apologize, dear. $5 is solid money. I feel pretty good. I'm in a good mood. Actually, it's part of it is the stress of having to pack up, roll up there, and then try to not mess that area up. Pick up the trash that their own clients leave up there all the time. Was getting pretty tired of picking up all that nasty crap that they leave up there, and and then not having to force to be rolled down here and set up again, all that stuff. It's actually saving me a lot of stoop labor and shit. I don't feel uncomfortable at all. And actually, this area is darker, whereas up there is, I was actually kind of a sitting duck up there. I told you I really wasn't upset by being given, being told I was no longer welcome there. It's that staff turnover has been tremendous there too. I didn't expect it to, especially when I noticed after, especially in recent months, it's just like I don't remember a single face. The people that were there 480 days ago are really not there anymore. Maybe one person or one regular, I think, doctor, and she's part of some sort of neurology, I think, trying to handle the neuroses of the hypochondriacs. Please bear in mind, hypochondriasis is not imaginary diseases. It's an obsession with one's health, an abnormal obsession with one's health, which I just described most of America. I'm not very proactive, I'm more reactive. I wait until I have a health problem and then I fix it. And I do it better than the doctors. Please, you're not going to hear me praising doctors very often because they are 30 years minimum behind me in the knowledge that they're allowed to have. Remember, doctors are dictated to by the insurance companies. Their practice is wholly dictated through the insurance cookbook known as the billing codes. If you don't really, I got a cousin that's an MD, and I like her because the last I still heard, she won't accept. She uses her people to screen out. She won't accept vegan or vegetarian patients. If they if they get a hint, because how can you tell a vegan or an atheist? Don't worry. How can you tell them? Don't worry. They'll remind you about every 15 seconds that they're a vegan or an atheist. And they're real easy to spot. They'll tell you right up front, I'm a vegan. You know, are the atheists? All you have to do is just occasionally mention God or Jesus or something like that, and you can watch the veins on atheists' heads just pop out. It's kind of lovely this morning for a Saturday morning, although they started lining up at 5 o'clock for that first cup on those people that are habituated to that super high tannic acid stuff. Most of you are. It's like I said, when I was young, you couldn't find burnt beans in this country. They didn't exist. They were all brown to light brown to brown. There weren't any black beans. It just wasn't happening. Anyway, it feels pretty good. There's really not any wind. I was a little bit chill when I like to sleep covered with a blanket in case wind comes up, and I can use the blanket to kind of cut out any light because I'm real light sensitive. Light comes through your eyelids. for 5:35 in the morning or something. That was getting in line for Starbucks. There's not as much traffic as I expected on a Saturday morning. Anyway, well, in case I didn't say it, it's the countdown's on. I did say it. Countdown is on. It's only about 4 more days until the rioting and arson and looting and mostly peaceful demonstrations of the far left begin again. We just went through 4 years of, them, burning and tearing down and destroying, all the liberal run cities in this country. And the mayor is just blocking off a zone that they're free to destroy other people's private, property and businesses and stuff. Kind of reminds me of Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, in which he did absolutely the wrong thing. That's kind of brainwashing. It goes on. I speak about this pretty regularly. If you actually ever watched the movie Do the Right Thing, at the end, Spike Lee does the wrong thing, starts a riot, and destroys the business of a businessman who was in that neighborhood since he was a child. It was an Italian neighborhood. They wanted him to take down all the Frank Sinatra pictures and stuff like that of his heroes and put up their heroes like Tupac or whatever. And he said, "No, this is my pizza joint. You know, you know, if you don't like it, lump it. You don't have to come here." In the end, who's the one who picks up the garbage can? I think it was Spike Lee himself. And he's one of them old, real heavy steel, galvanized garbage cans. They weighed about 20 pounds. Right through the front window. Destroys a man business. He's the kind of guy that would be voting for Camel Toe Harris. It's not your business, buddy. You can't dictate to a business owner. It's pizza. It's kind of considered an Italian thing, although I'm not sure if, I think Italians may have had something similar to pizza before we Americanized it. And God, the overabundance of pizza, burgers, and what else in this country is. And I don't mind the chicken joints, except they're all using that palm oil shit now. But the last thing that every time they debut some new business, because that's really what the Statesman does, is promote business. And every time they announce the opening of some new burger joint, I'm sorry, there's only so many variations on the burger that you can do. And actually, I had the best burgers on earth at the Canyon or something on the San Francisco Peninsula. Those were the best burgers I've ever run across. They had the best combinations and did it right. And, and they had, the mustard on the right side and the mayo on the right side. And they even had one of the first avocado burgers and stuff. There's been no improvement over that since then. And some of these burger joints like Jew Boy Burgers and stuff, the first time I went there, nope, I got the shits. I got the Frankenfood shits from it. That oil they was using was just disgusting. And I think they went there twice. First time wasn't enough. I figured I'd give them one more try. And the second time, yep, got the shits from them. Okay, morning movie review. Yep, I think I got it there. It was hard finding a movie last night. It's cute. I'll probably finish watching it here in a little bit. It's kind of a psychodrama with Loretta Young. There was one commenter go like, "I think Loretta Young was like the most beautiful actress of her era." Oh, I can think of many that were, in my opinion, better actresses. And better looking. But then we all have our own kind of taste, don't we? Uh, a lot of the actresses I've been coming up in movies lately, the one about the Rage of Paris or something like that, the girl kind of had those aquiline English features that I don't particularly like. It's kind of, the face kind of looks like a hawk's beak. It kind of, aquiline is the correct. And the funny thing is, though, is we talk about all these movie stars and stuff, and yet every day I see women on the street without any makeup on and without controlled lighting that are just as beautiful or more beautiful than any, or most of the actresses I've ever seen. And isn't it funny that the women that are always running for these beauty contests usually aren't the most beautiful girl in the world? And we all grew up with them, and that's the women that I appreciate the most. Are the women that don't realize how beautiful they are, and if they are aware, they're not conceited about it. It's one of the biggest problems, generational problems we're having right now, is that we've got a bunch of young girls who really are kind of misshapen. In my book, they're, told you before, they kind of have a blocky. They wear them low-waisted pants, hip hugger kind of pants, which exaggerates the fact that they don't have a waist. They look like a square box with these stick arms and stick legs, showing that they rarely walk. They live their life on a sofa. They have no curvature to their muscles, and unlike my ex-wife. Hmm. Hmm. It's actually a lovely morning. As soon as I felt a little chill when I took off the blanket, because I like to stay around 84 degrees. I like to keep my body at skin temperature. After you've done 3 winters without a tent or proper, especially you get to where it's just more comfortable for me, and it puts less of a load on my heart and my metabolism, because when you don't move much, I told my last video last night was talking about I wanted to go out for a stroll, get my metabolism up. I'm glad I didn't do that, because otherwise I would be in pain this morning. And I'm actually right now, for the moment, I'm pretty pain free. I'm checking my ankles aren't stiff, my knees aren't stiff, even though I slept setting up. I'm adapting. I think I'm gonna stay right here until I get some kind of complaint or some order to move off. I find that kind of unlikely, considering that people hang around here and sleep and do stem fapping and all kind of crap and abandoned vehicles here. I called in the cops one day when the guy had abandoned a vehicle here. I think he was a Ford soldier, based on the plates and the plate retainer deal is because it was from Colleen or something like that. And I couldn't see that on the other side it was badly damaged, and actually the trunk had been popped open too. It looked like it was okay, but it sat there, and it was, you had to actually, I could have actually gotten that vehicle and I had enough money to where I could have gotten in that vehicle and just taken off and gone anywhere in the country. It was running, apparently had the keys in it or something. It maybe got in an accident or something, but I'm the one that eventually called the cops after it, ran for hours and finally ran out of gas and stuff. And anyway, yeah, I'm kind of bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning. Uh, My doctor don't treat me right. She's been keeping me on, you know, on pain medication level that's for real light minor pain. It's that, you know, and it's really appropriate that I receive more. I'm old, I function good. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I like all my blood chemistry, everything's good. It's anyway. Yep, just remember, it's only 4 more days till the mostly peaceful demonstrations begin. Mostly peaceful, except for like when they stab a police horse, putting it into shock, and then it dies. In Seattle and other Portland and other places, the, the hotels, you know, for the conventions and stuff downtown are all closing down and stuff. That was the last round of news, was because nobody wants to go downtown in those cities because all the Antifa. It's funny how the people who call themselves anti-fascists are the biggest fascists in this country. A couple of months ago, if that, maybe 6 weeks ago, a woman pulls up here and backs in, and she does, her car's not exactly new. She's got a big Pittsburgh Steelers sticker on it on the back, and then on the side up high so everybody can see it, a Black Lives Matter sticker on it. And she gets out and she's a graying, you know, you know, single, probably never been married cat lady who clearly by her just public displays or stickers lets me know right off the bat that she and I will never ever be in agreement on anything that's real, because what is Black Lives Matter done with all the money? It's all the reports are coming, all that money they got from Soros, etc., has just gone into mansions and stuff like that. uh, all lives matter. Why do we have to remember when Mark Zuckerberg had that, somebody he had a Mark Zuckerberg used to have what he called his free speech wall, and prominently on there was Black Lives Matter, and somebody else came up and posted a little poster that said all lives matter. And Zuckerberg reportedly came, when he heard, came in a flying rage, you know, just flew out of his office in a rage and ripped down the poster, the sign that said all lives matter, which tells you exactly where his psychology's at. Before I make my next video, it'll be, well, no, it's still right now. It's almost 90 minutes till sunrise. It's that time of year. Oh yeah, tomorrow we go back to our time change. Well, technically that'll be sometime tonight. Well, no, tonight, but it'll still be tomorrow morning. And remember, Zuckerberg's already apologized for going along with the dictates the Biden-Harris administration to squelch what was truthful information that didn't adhere to the uh, UN, World Health Organization, CDC uh, stance. I know I lost about 5 Facebook pages during that. Uh, he's already apologized for it. He's admitting guilt, that he suppressed free speech and suppressed what is correct information. That's a matter of record. So, are we going to have 4 more years of this shit? Because if it is, it'll be the end of this country. I can guarantee you that. You know, the shrinkflation that I was talking about yesterday when the police came up here to politely give me a notice. They were really nice about it. I really have no problem with the Pflugerville PD. The one guy that was bugging me at night and stuff like that, haven't seen him in forever. Uh, uh, I'm a pretty durable person. I've been through more injuries than most of y'all will. You'll never. Anyway, I was about to launch into a story, but I ought to retard that. If I start talking about my adventures working for a certain department of the government, that's people tend to. But let's not forget, I've got the pictures, still somewhere. They're out there. I'm not the only one that has copies of them. That's about the only proof that I have that I work for them. Oh man, yeah, it's lovely this morning. Part of it is the humidity, because otherwise, when the air is real dry in the morning, my eyes are kind of boogered up from the outflow from the glaucoma, and it's hard to get it out when it's all dried up and shit. And so I haven't even washed my face yet. I haven't even taken a damp, hot towel to it or nothing. I hate to actually have to go digging through it and get a clean face cloth or a hand towel. I got already about 30 minutes, 27, 28. So, to those of you listening, you need to make up your mind, because, you know, uh, you young people, you think that, that you are our future. No, we old people, we mature people are your future. The decisions that we make, and I'm really calling upon all mature, rational people who are fact based to come on out and vote for President Trump. Let's put an end to this nonsense. The corporations are already doing it. The last one I remember reading about was, I think Toyota said, nope, this is the end of the woke, and we're not funding any more woke stuff. And the DEI is costing us a ton of money. We can't afford it. You can't afford to hire people that are incompetent in what is a fairly technical, and an automobile has got to run. An automobile can't run on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. It doesn't run on that. It runs on petroleum, and it runs on precise engineering. There's really no leeway for having a bunch of redundant employees who essentially contribute nothing to the product. That's got to stop it. Oh, my alarm's going off. So that's 6, so it means 6 o'clock. I've been rolling before my alarm every morning now for weeks. I've been leaving my sleeping spot at the clinic. Been no big deal. Some nights I'll go to sleep at 9 o'clock and then wake up at 12:30, 1:30, 2:30 in the morning and feel like a cup of tea like I did this morning. This is lovely weather. I'll finish with this. You talk about climate change. Yeah, I've watched climate change in my life. It got colder for a while there, and it got way wetter for about a decade. We had record rains, and we're now going back to what is a normal. This is a normal Texas fall. This is the way it was when I was younger, say in the first 20 to 30 years of my life, or 35. And please bear in mind, the other day when they said, some reports said this has been the hottest, on record. Well, that record setting dry hot period was around the time I was born. I was born within that hot dry spell. The climate on this planet is constantly changing. I know, I've studied it. And let me put it to you like this: liberals can lie, but rocks can't lie. Rocks alone can tell you the history of the climate of this planet. If you hadn't studied Geology 101 and Biology 101, you're no match for me. And don't come arguing the Bible to a Jew who's read that 10 times in one setting. And I got to where, actually, after the first few rounds, actually, a lot of the translations that y'all rely upon, I cast them off after just reading Genesis and stuff like that. I could see the slight dilution, and right off the bat, and a twisting of thou shalt not add to nor take away from is one of the big commandments. Anyway, I'll let y'all go. Half an hour to me is enough in the morning. Hope you enjoy your morning cup. Dan Wolf, everybody. I picked up a few new, and they appear to be real, non-fake channels and stuff. And let's get on with it. We got an election coming up, and I can't wait to see how angry that peace, love, dope crowd. Actually, I remember Churchill did victory. This is peace. And they're the least peaceful people I've known since I've been talking about this since this channel began. As I remember the 60s, it was not peaceful. The hippies were violent Maoists and embracing Marxism too, but they had this thing about Mao where they really wanted to, because that was right at the end of the Cultural Revolution in China, where they have pretty much made unalive all of the intelligentsia who you couldn't really brainwash and get them to conform with all this, Everybody that they were jealous of because they were smarter than the average worker, they just made them unalive. They sent them to re-education camps and worked them to death, teaching them how to be good peasants and productive. It's funny how that's all out the window now, and China is the biggest, communist / capitalist country on this planet. It's funny how the communists realize that sooner or later you really have to have some kind of capitalistic incentive to get people to be hyper-productive. You really can't do it at the point of a gun. It doesn't work. You have to reward them with something materialistic. I'll let you go now. This is just the first cup. Second cup about to come up. Although I don't really feel like I need it. My peristalsis is going. For only 3 hours sleep, I rested very well. I don't really have to do much today. I've got plenty of food for the rest of the day. I am a little disappointed, though, at the shrinkflation that I'm seeing in my tinned beef, because that's not a good buy. It's really now down to where it's half the beef that it was. It used to be a meal, and now it's closer to a snack with a lot of broth. I'll see you guys later, and just remember, Trump 2024, I'd much rather see something like Shapiro and Shapiro Walsh or something like that, or Shapiro DeSantis or something like that. I'd like to see Ben Shapiro leading this country because that boy is sharp. That Jew boy he's got that ready recall of facts and is obsessed with it and stuff like that. But because he's a Jew, and you've proven, all you leftists, Democratic socialists, have proven that you're the biggest reservoir of anti-Semites in this country. You were allowed to openly advocate making all Jews on this planet unalive without any. Here in Texas, you didn't get away with it, especially not on state-owned property. But Biden-Harris didn't do nothing about it. The Ivy League didn't do nothing about it. You talk about you're wanting to stop hate, and yet you promoted hate and have been promoting hate now for 13 months, almost 13 months. You've allowed Jewish students to be harassed and bullied and threatened. And you've just endlessly allowed hate speech. Even in Australia, they took over the Parliament building and dangled a terrorist flag off of that building with no consequences from the Australian government. I saw the video of it. You can't tell me it didn't happen. Yeah, I know there's AI and all this shit, but and CGI. No, it happened. Too many witnesses. Well, I'll see you later. I feel good this morning. For one thing, when you kind of embrace and accept the fact that I've got a surgeon that's been messing me around, I'm trying to keep this clean so I can go keep it, for the PG-13 crowd. But I've waited 2 weeks after telling them that I have a post-surgical residence lined up. Haven't heard a word out of him. He may be coming under the influence of, because I've made a lot of enemies in that area. They were politicians and cops. Exposed their criminality. Don't forget, I've been framed 4 times and won 4 times. And even on the first 2 charges, had them all on tape, committing multiple felony aggravated perjuries. That's 25 years. It's a major crime because people get executed over perjury. In the 10 Commandments, it doesn't say thou shalt not lie. It says thou shalt not bear false witness. That's perjury. I'll see you guys later. I'll be back with more.